Let's get the show on the road. A very warm welcome to each of you, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here today for this session focused on thinking with AI, thinking with ChatGPT as opposed to thinking about it, and shifting from fear to fascination. I am going to be presenting together with my partner Avi, and we're going to be showing you a couple of PowerPoint slides, but actually as few as possible because we want to get into the real meat of it, which is actually prompting and showing you what is actually possible when we shift our mindset and shift our whole approach when it comes to AI. Okay, so you'll see that it says shifting from, as I mentioned, fear to fascination. That's what we want to do. And ChatGPT or your AI, doesn't matter which tool or app you prefer, don't get too distracted by the latest shiny object. The most important thing is the mindset and the approach and the thinking and the habits and the behaviors to embrace and partner and co-create with AI, and to get it to help us to harness its power and harness the creative, strategic, and productivity gains from really leveraging it. All right. So if you're thinking you're too late to the party, or it's scary, or it's overwhelming, you're not too late. It can be scary when we don't fully understand the power and understand the application of it. And I definitely was somewhat scared and concerned and overwhelmed by it. But when I started to shift my mindset, which happened in the end of June last year, everything shifted. So some of you might have attended some of our training or workshops on AI in the past 6, 7, 8 months. But if you have, you'll know that I referenced this video, and essentially this guy, and we'll share the link to this YouTube video, but he's a Stanford professor focusing on AI and entrepreneurship and innovation. And he talks about the only correct answer to how do you use AI is I don't use AI, I work with it as a tool, as a partner, as a teammate instead of a tool. So most people are just asking AI questions like it's a tool like Google, and it's a smarter and maybe more polite version of Google. But that's an orientation or positioning where you're the question answer and you're asking it simple questions and you're just getting information and then you calling it a day. And that is not the correct and optimal way to actually approach AI. What I've learned mainly from Jeremy Utley in this video and other thought leaders is that when you start to partner with it and pretend that your AI is a person, we know it's not. But if we pretend and we position ourselves that we've got this new teammate and it's super intelligent, super enthusiastic, never tires, is happy to work through the night 24/7, and just wants to add value and just wants to help you, then, and also just wants to learn. Okay, that's a huge thing. If you don't give context and you don't teach it and train it in terms of what's going on in your world and how your business operates and how your brain operates, then it's just going to be generic AI and your output is just going to be completely generic and the same as everyone else's, and you're not going to stand out and you're not going to actually improve anything in terms of your output, your productivity, your creativity, and your strategic thinking. We want to elevate our thinking. We want to elevate our creativity and our productivity, and we're going to have to give it context. And we're going to be showing you many examples over the course of this hour of exactly how that works. So the way that we think about AI matters the most. It all starts with the mindset. It all starts with our attitude and our beliefs and our mindset around AI. And I can speak 100% from experience that when you shift your mindset, it changes everything. And it's much more important than which AI app you're using. By the way, I mean, I'm working with ChatGPT most of the time, but I also work with Gemini. Why do I work with Gemini? Because, for example, Gemini is great at images and tweaking and rendering and changing up images. For example, we're busy renovating a house at the moment. So to give renders of what something could look like, I find that Gemini is much better than ChatGPT. So we don't have to stick with one app entirely, but we just have to realize that different tools and apps have different advantages and strengths and weaknesses. Another thing about Gemini is that it's great for anything Google related, anything factual based on the internet, based on a Google environment. Gemini is living inside Google. So for me, it's faster and more reliable when I'm looking for actual factual things. For example, researching for a trip or researching about a company, I tend to go to Gemini. But for all the thinking, reasoning, and decision making, and looking at different options and organizing my thoughts, for me, it's ChatGPT. And one of the things we're telling our audiences now is that every person is different, every team is different, every company is different, every industry is different, and you all have nuances that are completely unique to you and to your world and your environment. But everyone's got one thing in common. Everyone's got a brain and everyone thinks. So if we can get our thinking elevated, sharpen our thinking, get clarity of thought, look at the options, make sense of things. We live in a very overwhelming world with so much information and so much noise. And if we can get AI to help us to think better, that's a huge advantage and a game changer. And then that can take you can then go on whatever path you want. But it all starts with thinking. So that's where we're seeing the biggest shift for people when they start shifting the way they think by harnessing the power of AI. And then I love this campaign by Fiverr, just to show you quickly. A lot of people are scared that AI is going to take their job, or someone who uses AI is going to take their job. What Fiverr is saying, and what really resonates with me, is take your own job to the next level. Okay, so AI is helping me to take my own job to the next level. Let me elevate what I'm currently doing. Let me elevate my thinking, elevate my job, elevate my business by harnessing AI. Don't worry about the fear of someone or something coming to steal your job. That's not happening. Or we can't, it's out of our control. What's within our control is to take our own life and our own work and our own job to the next level by partnering with AI. Okay, we can skip over that. It is very important to talk about prompting and prompt engineering, because we're going to show you how to engage and interact with AI over the course of this hour. And really, in 2022, ChatGPT came out. It was launched. I think I put up my hand and it's now raised. It's noticed and it's given me a Zoom raised hand. So when ChatGPT came out, for the first year or two, everyone in the industry was saying how you have to learn how to prompt exactly, and you have to lay out your prompts and put headings, and it's all about prompting correctly. That's outdated, because what it's really become is the models have evolved and become so good and so intelligent, so intuitive, so insightful that all you have to do is learn how to just be curious and how to communicate with AI as if it's a person. So that's the habit. So that's the behavioral shift. It's actually not taking a course on exactly how to prompt. You don't need to take a course on learning how to code, because the AI can code. The AI can prompt. It can create a prompt for you. It can code for you. And what's actually happening now is that the latest version of ChatGPT, which has just been released, and Avi will add his input in a moment, the latest version of ChatGPT is ChatGPT 5.3, and ChatGPT 5.2 was used to almost entirely to build ChatGPT 5.3. So the AI is actually building and iterating and refining and improving itself. So it's quite a crazy reality that we're actually living in now, where the AI is so powerful and so intelligent and insightful and on the pulse that it's doing almost all the heavy lifting and the coding of building itself. And that's why these AI companies have focused on that, because it just lays the foundation for all future improvements and iterations. Avi?
Thanks, Dan. I thought it'd be valuable just to take a step back. I actually wanted to create a poll, but I wasn't able to as a co-host. Just thought it'd be valuable to get a sense of what everyone's experience has been with AI. Are you using AI? Are you using ChatGPT? Just to get a bit of a sense of where you're at. So maybe the simplest thing for now is let us know in the chat, maybe, just so we can understand the audience a bit better. Are you using AI? Do you know what AI even stands for? I'm sure you do, but just in case, what app are you using? Are you using it on your phone? Using it on your computer? Do you want to use it? Are you working? Are you retired? Just give us a bit of info if you're happy to in the chat. think it'll be good for us just to get a lay of the land. So keep the comments coming through there in the chat. Mark's not using it at all. David's using it, but I definitely can use it more for sure. Anyone else? We've got about 20 plus people in this meeting here today. Would love to hear from you in the chat, just so we can, I think, just get a better sense of where everyone is at. Okay, that was my little insight.
Okay, good. Thanks, Av. Thank you. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat. That's great. We want to know from you. I wanted to give a context up front and just a bit of an introduction, but it is definitely great to hear from you. Peter says, I use ChatGPT a lot. That's great. Kalalelo says, I use it almost daily now. Petros says, never used it before. So we got a full spectrum. Interesting little anecdote. I was chatting to a cousin of mine about 2 months ago. She said to me, Dan, are you using ChatGPT like every day? And I chuckled and I said to her, like, that's completely, like, I appreciate the question, but I'm actually talking to it all day, every day. I'm literally conversing with my ChatGPT as if it's my best friend, my colleague, my partner, my co-founder, my wingman. In every area of my life, I bounce absolutely everything of it, and it sharpens my thinking to a whole nother level. So that's what we. It's important and very good to know whether you are using it currently or not. But I think we can all keep an open mind in terms of how we are engaging with the AI. That's the important thing. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. So here you can see that as opposed to prompt engineering being important, it's really about curiosity, habits, communication, and delegation. All right. Context engineering is the real secret. That means giving context to our AI. Simple. Telling it what's on our mind, giving it details around the situation. And the better that you explain your brain, the better that your AI works. All right. Okay. Now, guys, we ran a workshop yesterday and we put this up on the screen and we shared it with the delegates. They were all taking photos of it and keen to try this, and maybe you can do the same. We can share the text in the actual chat. Avi can do that for you while I speak about this, and you can do it right now if you want. You don't have to, because it often is a very illuminating conversation, and it might take you down for an hour, like down a certain path where you're just exploring and discovering a whole lot of new things. But you can, if you don't know where to start when it comes to AI and how AI can help you in your job. What you can do is you can prompt your ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, you are my AI consultant. Please interview me to understand my role, my workflows, and my KPIs, my key performance indicators, so that you can make 2 obvious and 2 non-obvious recommendations for how I could leverage AI in my work. And then what's a nice thing as well is you can say, ask 1 question at a time. If they ask you 20 questions, it might be overwhelming. So you can treat it more as an interview where they ask you 1 question at a time. Thank you, Avi. All right. So guys, you can try that. You can try that in your own time. I don't think we should do that now. I think save that for afterwards in your own time. Go through that. And I think it'll be really interesting what you discover. All right. So guys, here is ChatGPT. Some of you will be familiar with this platform and this interface. Some of you won't. I'll run through it very quickly. First thing is it's very clean and uncluttered. There's no noise. It's a simple box where you can ask anything you want. All right. This is a little plus button which says add files and more, where you can upload stuff. But even easier than adding an image from here, okay, photos and files, is you can drag stuff into here. Okay. And that's useful to know. You can also dictate. All right. If you've ever clicked this button on the website, on the browser version of ChatGPT or in your app, you will know and you will appreciate the value of speaking to your AI for 2 main reasons. The first reason is that it's 4 times faster than typing. And the second reason is, besides for the time that you're going to save, you're going to be able to communicate what's on your mind with more ease and just more naturally and more authentically, as opposed to typing and wondering what words to use. All right. And as you start building the habit of speaking to your AI all day, every day, you're going to have a combination of texting and voice prompting. The same as, think about if you had your partner or co-founder human who was there as your wingman, as your partner 24/7 to bounce anything off, you would sometimes text them and you would sometimes voice prompt them. All right. If you've ever voice prompted in ChatGPT, drop me a message in the chat and tell me, yes, I love it, or yes, I have, or yes, once or twice. I'd love to know if anybody has actually used the voice dictation feature. This button over here is using voice where you speak and then your AI speaks back with a voice. Sounds like a human. I don't really use that because I find it's quicker and easier for me to voice prompt and then for ChatGPT to write and type for me. So I read what I'm receiving. So I speak with my mouth and then I read with my eyes. And that's, I think, the fastest, smoothest way to engage with the AI. All right, the next thing we'll focus on quickly before we prompt is you'll see my name here and it says plus. And some of you are wondering, should I have the free version or the paid version, or is it worth it? Or how does it work? How much is it? All right, it is in the region of $20 to $23 a month for a paid plus plan. On ChatGPT, that's what I have, and that's what Avi has. Our business pays for it. We get enormous value, infinitely, exponentially more than what we pay because we leverage it so much. And that's your decision and maybe your company's decision on whether you do that now or in the future. What I can say is 99% of ChatGPT users are on the free account. I challenge you to engage and build the habit so much that you start getting frustrated because you start bumping your head on the ceiling because ChatGPT limits you and it caps you. And after you've prompted and loaded a few documents, it's going to say to you, take a breather, cool off period, you've used it too much. I challenge you to get to that point because that means that you're building the muscle and it's time to upgrade. Okay. It's like a free gym membership where you can access it 10 minutes a day or 10 minutes twice a week or 3 times a week. And then you start building the muscle and you start needing more. Okay, so it's a similar thing. We want to become that type of person who's getting huge value. And that's the 1%. And it's not not going to break the bank. It's not an amount of like 3,000 Rand a month. It's in the region of 400 Rand a month. And I recommend that people push themselves to that point where they feel like it's a no-brainer to actually upgrade. All right, guys, next thing you'll notice is that down the left, we've got new chat. We can search our chats, etc. And then we've got 4 of these collapsible headings. GPTs, these are custom GPTs. It's most likely going to be beyond the scope of today's session because there's just not enough time to go into that. But essentially, you're building your own customized AI. All right, so you can see I've got a few here. I've given them little names and faces, and each one has a specific brain and a specific set of roles and responsibilities for me. So that's my running coach. That's a little artist to create these little caricatures. This is our email writer for Excel Academy. This is our session planner who helps us to plan sessions like this, and that's pretty cool. And we go into more depth in our upcoming online course that we're about to launch about GPTs. Projects are great, and projects are really, really useful and important. I know that Avi is loving working in projects, so am I. I've got a couple of good examples. I've just set up a project over here for my fiance's upcoming wedding in 6 months' time, planning, and AI has helped me to plan the different chats inside of this project. We're also busy with the renovation, and there are the different chats inside this project. This was a workshop that we ran for a company in Midrand yesterday. So we created a project for that with a whole bunch of chats. And I do believe that even if you're on the free version of ChatGPT, you do have projects. They're essentially workspaces where you can put different chat threads into, and you can also, importantly, put in specific instructions and context into the project so that that project understands the context of that whole environment and that whole scenario. All right, so we'll look at that in a bit more detail just now. Just wanted to show you high level. And then we've got group chats. We haven't really been using this that much, but it's essentially you're almost creating like a WhatsApp group type of environment where, for example, if I want to chat with ChatGPT about a certain topic, but I want to include Avi in the conversation, I'll start a group chat or I'll start a normal chat and I'll add Avi to the group so that it can be a conversation between me and Avi and ChatGPT. So like 3 entities, 2 humans and an AI having a conversation. All right. And then these are all the chats. And I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of chats here, probably even into the thousands. And interestingly, you'll see that I've got a wedding planning phase 1 chat. And then this morning, I actually said, hey, ChatGPT, is it time to create a project? And it said yes. I'll just show you very quickly here. It was a long thread. And then I said, do you think it's time to start creating a project for the wedding and then splitting it up into a few different chats? Let me know your thoughts on how to structure it. And there was a voice prompt this morning sitting right here. And it said, yes, you've hit the complexity threshold where a dedicated project structure will save you real cognitive load. And it actually recommended the project architecture. It said, call the project this, and then have 6 different chats. Number 1, number 2, budget and finance, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. Why this works? Most couples mix everything together and it becomes one messy stream, and it becomes exhausting and overwhelming and very, very stressful. And what this structure does is it separates the thinking modes into different streams. So very, very useful. Okay, so that's an overview of the environment inside ChatGPT. All right. And as we know, we can just click on new chat and we can talk about anything that's on our mind. So what I'm going to actually show you is, I thought it to be useful just to get the creative juices flowing and show you what's possible. This was this morning. And what I did was I gave ChatGPT context about this particular session. Okay. So this was the marketing for the session today. And what I said is, running a 60-minute Zoom session this morning with Orchat. So far, about 55 people registered, typically small business owners. The title, okay, I put that, copied and pasted that in, and I said attached info so that ChatGPT could read what's here. And I said, please help me to plan the session. And I said there, I want a big focus on a thinking partner, on building habits, on voice dictating, prompting, and expecting exceptional outcomes. So setting the bar high for your AI. And then also the point about, have you asked AI? So that I gave it context. I framed it. I told it when the session is. I told it how long it is, told it who the audience is. And I gave it information so that it could start planning. All right. What you'll notice as well is I'm actually in this case using a custom GPT, which I mentioned earlier, which is Erez the Planner. Didn't have to, but because I did, it's got overall context about how we typically run these sessions. So I didn't have to give it all the context all over again. Okay, so you'll see here that what it did is it's given me an overall 60-minute flow. It suggests, because it knows that I always like to start the first 10 minutes with framing and inspiring and, positioning AI and reframing it from a robot or a replacement, etc., to a thinking partner and a clarity machine, etc. And then it says that for the next 15 minutes, live demos with high energy. All right, it's given a few examples of the types of prompts that I can show you here today. And voice prompting. All right, and then it's actually suggesting that for 25 minutes, which is actually from now for the next 25 minutes, 25 to 50, you guys must do it yourself. All right, and it's saying maybe you guys should type in the chat what business you run, what your current biggest frustration is, and to actually do this. So maybe we can, in a moment or two, take 1 or 2 examples from you guys in the chat. If you are keen to volunteer and to share a little bit, we'd love to hear. What is currently your biggest frustration? Okay, maybe think about that for a moment and post in the chat. And if you like, you can put your hand up and we can unmute you and we can give you a chance to actually describe a little bit more context and we can see how we can get AI to help us to think through the issue. All right. And then it's talking about building the habit, speaking about that for 10 minutes. And then it's talking about creativity expansion and then closing strong, recapping. All right. And then optional bonus. It's reminding me what kind of tone I want for small business owners like you, to emphasize leverage, speed, confidence, and getting rid of tech intimidation. It's telling me to avoid AI jargon and explaining the models in too much detail and anything that feels corporate heavy. And then it said, if you'd like, I can now do this and this and this and this and this. What do you want to tighten next? And you'll see what I did here, which is, by the way, you've got copy. If you ever want to copy what it's written and then paste it wherever into Word and then edit it, for example, you can just copy there. And what I've done here is I've actually replied to a certain piece. So what I did was I wanted to see what it would give me if I highlighted the second bullet point and I said, ask ChatGPT, and then it replies to that. So I said, yes, please. Okay, so it's actually given me a draft of an opening 3-minute script. And obviously, I didn't learn this off by heart. It's not about that. But it was just giving some points to think about it, to talk about in those first couple of minutes to get the ball rolling. Okay, so this is great because 3 of you have given some feedback in the chat. So Ruti, you've said, I would love an opportunity. I'm a newly qualified financial coach and wanting to get my business off the ground. Thanks, Ruti. All right, and then we've got feedback from Ben and Liesel as well. So Ruti, that's great. Avi, can we get Ruti to unmute?
Yeah, let me try that now. Let's see. I think you should be able to now. We've asked you to unmute.
Yeah, there you go. Must I put myself on video also?
If you want to.
Okay, sure. Okay, hi everybody.
Hi, Ruti. Okay, do you want to share a little bit more about what's on your mind?
Okay, fine. So I'm one of those very, very fearful ChatGPT users. And yeah, I mean, I have other questions, but let's just focus on my business. So I'm a financial coach and I'm trying to get my business off the ground. I'm thinking of working with somebody to help me with my marketing because that's something that I struggle with. But yeah, I'm sort of like I'm here because I want to learn how I can actually leverage off ChatGPT instead of paying for someone's advice. And yeah, I suppose that goes back to my question. So how's that person going to build a business? But that's not my problem. My problem is I want to build my business.
Yeah, got you. Thank you, Ruti. Really appreciate it. Thanks for unmuting and giving us some insight into what's going on your side. What I want to do is I'm going to challenge you, and you can feel free to accept or reject the challenge. I'm going to give you an opportunity, if you want, to actually speak and say pretty much what you just said into my ChatGPT as a voice dictation so that you can practice it and everyone can see how it works and how simple it is. And then we're going to see where that takes us with a chat. Are you happy with that?
Awesome, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I could just go to new chat and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I've done in anticipation of the session is I actually created a new project. So here is the project for today's session. So everything relating to all the chats and demos that we do today, I would like to keep organized inside the AutoJet AI workshop project. Okay, and you'll see here, it's an opportunity for me to show you quickly the back end of the project. If I click on the 3 dots and I go to project settings, you'll see that I can put in some instructions into the AI and into the project settings. I haven't got any instructions yet. So before Ruti has a chance, I'm actually just going to show you how simple this is to voice prompt. And a key principle, which is amazing with AI, is that AI helps you to use AI. So I don't have to go and type in custom instructions. I can just say, hey, ChatGPT, can you do the custom instructions for my project here? I'm going to do exactly that. And watch how simple this is. Morning, ChatGPT. I'm actually live in the middle of the AutoJet workshop here this morning, and we've got 30 people on the call. I'm busy voice prompting, and they're watching and listening to me. And I'm demoing how to voice prompt and how to ask AI to help me to use AI. So in this demo, which is actually very important here, can you please give me the custom instructions to put into this project settings? All right. Notice how I spoke as if it's a person. Notice how brilliant the voice dictation is and the transcription, except for AutoChat. Maybe it will learn that it's ORTJET. Okay, I need to speak like an American maybe. And there we go. I'm just going to put that in and it says, perfect. Let's make this sharp, practical, and impressive. You're about to show them how to set up AI properly, not just use it. All right, so project name, ORTJET AI Thinking Partner Demo. Okay, it's fine. I've already named it something else. What would you like ChatGPT to know about you? How would you like ChatGPT to respond? Optional add-on if you want to impress them. Okay, I think it's actually missed the mark here. Maybe I wasn't clear enough. I'm going to type this time. Thanks, but please give me instructions for this particular project for me to paste into the project settings. Okay. Perfect. Project instructions, paste this. All right. Okay, so here we go. Project instructions, paste this in. You are my AI thinking partner for a live Zoom workshop with small business owners. Your role is not just to answer questions, but to elevate my thinking and help me demonstrate how to work with AI strategically in this project. Act as a strategic co-pilot, help me think more clearly, etc., etc. Okay, avoid fluff, avoid long disclaimers, deliver insights with clarity. I'm going to go and copy all of that. I'm happy, and I'm going to paste it into my, let's go back to the project. Okay, here's the project, Ruti. We're going to get to you in a moment, and I'm going to paste all of that into the actual project instructions. All right, in the project settings. Okay, so now it's got context about what this is all about inside this project. It understands. And now I can start a new chat, which will be dedicated to Ruti. And I'm going to start by clicking dictate. And when I've clicked dictate, Ruti's going to speak. Her voice is going to come through my computer into my microphone and into ChatGPT. All right, so Ruti, you can just speak your mind once I've clicked dictate. So I'm going to click in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Chat. My name's Ruti. I am a newly qualified financial coach and I am struggling to get my business off the ground. I need help and guidance on how to market myself, be it on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and I'm also in time wanting to put together a webinar so I can give the information over to people, but that's in time. In the meantime, I have to make sure my LinkedIn is good and start getting clients. Can you help me and guide me?
Okay, excellent, Ruti. Well done. You spoke beautifully and clearly, and you can see that it actually captured everything, I think, 100%. By the way, when you're on the browser, like I am here, you can see that it's drafted it. And then if I wanted to change it or edit it or add a few things, I can do that. If I wanted to skip a line, I can press Shift Enter so that I can add more content. I can copy and paste in some more stuff. I can put in a picture. I can put in a document. I can give it as much information as possible. We're happy with that. And I'm going to click Enter and let's see. Ruti, good. You're early. That's not a weakness. It's leverage. You don't have a marketing problem. You have a positioning and clarity problem. Let's fix this properly. Step 1, get clear on what you actually sell. Most new financial coaches say, I help people with their finances. That's invisible. Instead, answer this. Who exactly do I want to help? Young professionals, divorced women, small business owners, overwhelmed couples. What painful problem do they wake up with? All right, giving you 4 different options there. What outcome do you create? Okay, a clear financial plan in 90 days, debt-free roadmap, first 100K saved, financial confidence. Until this is sharp, LinkedIn won't convert. If you want, tell me, who do you want to serve first? Then it's saying step number 2, fix your LinkedIn profile. Your profile is not a CV, it's a landing page. Here's the structure that I would recommend. Headline, instead of financial coach, try financial coach helping young professionals build savings and confidence without feeling overwhelmed. Specific is better than vague. All right, and then the about section of LinkedIn, and then step 3, start posting, but don't overthink it. You don't need webinars yet. You need visibility, authority, and trust. Start with 2 posts per week. So it's given you a marketing strategy here as a first step. It's not necessarily perfect. Okay, it might, maybe there's something that you want to say, like, I'd actually like to post once a week, or why don't I post 3 times a week? You can refine, you continue the conversation, and you don't just accept it as gospel truth, the first thing that comes out of ChatGPT. Post ideas. It's given some creative ideas. You can ask for 10 more, 20 more, and you can filter through them and decide what you like. Step 4, don't wait for inbound, start conversations. That's a good point. This is where most new coaches freeze. Each day, connect proactively with 10 people in your target market. Send a simple message. Hi, Sarah. I work with young professionals on financial clarity. Always great to connect with like-minded people. No pitch. And then out of curiosity, what's your biggest financial challenge right now? So it's given you a nice way to open conversations. And then a Facebook strategy. LinkedIn is authority. Facebook is relatability. All right. Step 6, when to do webinars. Only once you understand your audience deeply and you know the exact pain points and you have at least 5 to 10 conversations under your belt. Webinars amplify the clarity, they don't create it. Okay, you're newly qualified, your advantage, you're fresh, you're relatable, you're not corporate, you can speak simply, but you must choose a niche, show up consistently, start conversations daily. Momentum beats perfection. And there we go. And if you'd like, I can help you refine your niche, rewrite your LinkedIn profile live. And guys, I think this is an excellent example. I'm going to give Ruti a big round of applause for being brave and volunteering here. And what I'm going to say as well is I think this is a great starting point for Ruti. And I think it will. What I've seen is that it learns as you engage with it more and more, it will understand more and more and more about you, about your priorities, about your challenges, about your personality. I find that my ChatGPT knows me better than I know myself. It knows my strengths, my weaknesses, my blind spots. It knows my goals, and it helps me to keep me on track and get me on track. So this is just the beginning for you. It's given you quite specific advice. It doesn't know you intimately because it's my ChatGPT, but it does know some context because you prompted it quite well by voice prompting.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Would you mind to share this with me so I can?
With pleasure.
Can I ask you another quick question before you go on to the next person?
Yeah.
If you put in personal information, is that then available to the whole website? For argument's sake, okay, this is my business, but like you putting your wedding stuff on there. Now, can somebody else, in inverted commas, tap into, and like, what's the privacy and the confidentiality in terms of?
Great question. Great questions. Probably on a lot of people's minds. I'm glad that you brought it up. As far as I know, everything's encrypted, just like WhatsApp. That there's end-to-end encryption, and it's HTTPS encrypted. I don't know the exact. I mean, I'm not a cyber hacking and cybersecurity expert, but as far as I know, it is properly secured, and it's definitely not available to the rest of the web. But it's good to have a framework and to think through this. So remember, so if ChatGPT is our thinking partner, then, and we're starting to think about this and be a bit concerned about it, let's share that with chat. So should I give you one more chance here, Ruti, to start a new chat and just to voice dictate your question into chat, or do you want me to do it?
It's okay if there's enough time. I'd love that.
Yeah. Let's do it. Okay, it'll take less than a minute. I'm going to click dictate.
Okay. Hi, chat. I'm new at using chat and I'm a little bit concerned about the confidentiality of putting in private and confidential information. Can you please give me the parameters in which you hold my information confidential?
Okay, and I'm just going to actually, I'm going to say ChatGPT. It's Ruti again, just so it knows that it's not Dan. I'm new at using chat and I'm a little bit concerned. Okay, let's see what it gives us. You're absolutely right to pause and think about this. Your chats are not public. What you type here is not posted publicly. It's not visible to others, not searchable, not shared with random third parties. It's a private session between you and the system. Is it confidential like a lawyer or a therapist? Not exactly. It's not a legally protected space like attorney-client privilege or doctor-patient confidentiality. So you should not treat it as a legally protected vault for highly sensitive or regulated information. Can your data be used to improve the system? Depending on the plan and the settings. Okay, we're going to show you in a moment. Some conversations may be used in anonymized form to improve the model. Human reviewers may occasionally review small samples for safety and quality. They are not browsing your identity. They are not selling your data, and it's not used for advertising. All right. And if you're on an enterprise or business package, then it's typically stronger data protections. Practical rule of thumb. Okay, so what's how do we practically think about this? You can safely use ChatGPT for brainstorming, drafting emails, thinking through strategy, personal reflection, business planning in general terms. Avoid pasting ID numbers, bank details, passwords, medical records that are highly sensitive. That's just common sense. If you need help with something sensitive, you can generalize it, you can change names, and you can remove identifying details. For example, instead of saying my client David Green from Santon owes this amount and has depression, a client owes a large outstanding amount and is struggling personally. How should I handle this? All right. Think of ChatGPT as a powerful thinking partner, not a document vault. Use it to sharpen your thinking, not to store secrets. All right. Okay. Good answer. Good question. Good answer.
Thank you.
Okay. Excellent. Good stuff. Thank you, Ruti. Who wants to be next? I think this is a really nice way. It's a nice way of engaging with ChatGPT and getting to know you guys better, and a really effective learning technique. So who's next? Let's have a look. Avi, is there anyone else who put their hand up? Ben Levine.
Yay! Hello, everybody. So just a little bit of context before I actually get to my question. On AI, on ChatGPT. So Dan, background from my side happens. I am cybersecurity. Yay! So you guys, whatever chat info you're putting into the prompts, the general rule of thumb is redact, remove any sensitive information. So you say, hey, ChatGPT, I want to know what public information is available on Ben Levine with ID number redacted. Right, you're removing ID number, sensitive information, or I want to know the net worth of Ben Levine, remove bank account, stuff like that. So you can query like names and things because, well, it's public information. But anytime it is a sensitive topic, bank account numbers, ID numbers, probably even addresses, things like that, as was mentioned before, that data is used to strengthen the model, which means that data is available publicly. It might not tie directly back to you, as in Ben has now used his ChatGPT, or Dan has now used Dan's ChatGPT, and now there's this mapping because Dan queried Ben's ID, and now Ben's ID is linked to that. No, but Ben's ID number, if it was entered into the chat, is publicly available in the public repository to strengthen the model and all of that. So redact the stuff. Second point is always verify. So I was saying in the chat, always verify the information, because ChatGPT can get very creative. So never blindly trust. And the last thing, I think you're looking at it in the data controls there, is you can actually turn on memory and not. And so the memory will basically go across any chat history. So in Dan's case, he's got all those projects that he had. The memory will actually go and use all of those projects, all of those chats to refine the responses. So like Dan said, ChatGPT knows him better than he knows himself due to that memory function, which can be turned on and can be turned off. And the last point is public. You can make a chat public, but it's not public by default.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But yeah, on to my question. My question is, or my frustration, that was actually the question, is targeting the right kind of clientele and how to do it. So I've done a lot of prompting for ChatGPT, and it's like, go and do this, go and do that. And one of the things, like, doing weekly messages and things like that. So it's like, hey, generate a message for LinkedIn, target this, target that, use that reference. And at least specifically in my industry, so in IT, in cybersecurity, the guys have been coming up with this AI slop. It's now been termed. And generally it's just, guys randomly flooding all social media with, well, this AI slop, random, say a lot, but actually say very little kind of content. And so, it's like actually try and target. I mean, naturally, for me specifically, it's generally your head of departments or your CISO level even, or your C-level suite guys that have to sign off on the contracts because it's, well, really confidential data we're touching. It's not just anybody. So how to actually potentially use maybe ChatGPT or just otherwise to target the right kind of people. Like, how do you get access to the decision makers essentially? Because I found, like, when I'm phoning the guys, and ChatGPT hasn't really been able to help us. It's like, just keep phoning.
Yeah, look,
Go
it's a
play some
tough question.
golf.
I think so. That's the million dollar question. So, Ben, thanks for all your points. Firstly, thanks for sharing your insights and experience when it comes to the ChatGPT security settings and best practices. I'll touch on one or two of those things quickly. If we go to the bottom left here and we click on settings and I go to data controls, you can look around here. You'll see improve the model for everyone. What does that mean? Allow your content to be used to train our models, which makes ChatGPT better for you and everyone who uses it. We take steps to protect your privacy. I think a key principle here is empower yourself. Don't be blind to the stuff. Think consciously about what you're putting into the model and what you're comfortable with sharing. And I think it's a healthy balance to find of not being overly paranoid, but not being overly trusting and overly naive. So that's the healthy balance. And you can look through these settings. In terms of memory, I find that since I've upgraded, which was quite a while ago, to a paid ChatGPT account, the memory is much better. So it remembers things. It has context across chats and projects, and particularly in a particular thread. And I love that because I don't always have to re-explain myself and give it context. Memory is amazing. The fact that ChatGPT knows me so well already puts it ahead of using any other AI app as my main brain thinking partner, because if I went to Claude or Gemini, I'd in a way have to start from scratch because it doesn't really know me. And I could ask Chat to summarize me, and it could give me a summary of what it knows about me, which I could then put into Gemini or Claude, but it won't be that good. Point is, memory is very valuable when it comes to your AI, and I would definitely leave that on because then it's got context, which is critical. Okay, your question, Ben, I think it's a strategic question, and I don't think there's a silver bullet, and that's, I think, something that every business owner grapples with. How do you get in the room with your ideal target market, your ideal client, your ideal customer? And I don't think there's a silver bullet and an exact answer. And I think it takes trial and error, and it takes an open mind, and it takes persistence, and it takes all these things. And I think ChatGPT can help you to find creative ways and opportunities and options to start those conversations. And you'll need to use your judgment and your discretion in terms of what you try and how much you try and what you focus on. But I think it can help you think through that. So, I mean, you say that you have tried and it has kind of been a bit helpful, but maybe not as helpful as you would have liked. You're more than welcome to give it a quick 30-second voice prompt into my ChatGPT just as a quick demo if you want, if you think that'll be valuable for you and for everyone else.
We can give it a shot. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to click dictate and then you can speak your mind.
Hi, ChatGPT. This is Ben, not Dan. So respond in my context. I'm a cybersecurity company, and I'm looking to see how to expand my client base and target the decision makers in companies. Let's give that a shot.
Great. It's Dan here again. I'm just going to ask you, Ben, what have you tried so far with ChatGPT's help? What has worked well and what has been disappointing? Maybe you can give a bit of your experience.
Hi, ChatGPT. It's Ben again, just for context. We've done prompts with basically making email or cold calling and cold email draft outs, strategies from that kind of approach, community-based sessions that didn't really go off because, again, we didn't have the reach and the people didn't understand the product that was there. Everyone knows about a hacker and the dangers of it, but when the session was there, they were like, but that's obviously for people out of their knowledge or skill set, which isn't the case. Everyone could have benefited. So it was just general things like that. And just very heavy traction or very low traction, very heavy resistance, I guess.
Cool. Excellent. Thanks, Ben. So let's see. Okay, again, it looks like
that
it's
was a
got
lot
everything.
there.
Yeah, it was quite a lot. Guys, you don't have to be afraid. Like, ChatGPT doesn't complain when you send it a 3-minute voice prompt. Like a person might complain, your best friend might complain. Why didn't you just call me? ChatGPT, you just click record and speak your mind. Just rain down your thoughts. It will make sense of it. This is why I say that we don't have to prompt like it's 2023. It's now 2026. The models are brilliant, and we can just speak into it.
On a note, on the dictation stuff, when you guys do it, just you'll notice that Dan keeps going back to read the context, just because sometimes from bad, diction, When we speak, it's going to insert something that won't necessarily be what you actually said because it couldn't hear your voice. So do the diction, but then go reread your prompt and just make sure. Sometimes, like I say, packing scenarios, and it turns it into a hijacking scenario, and then it goes down this whole path of a hijacking which never occurred.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. So just quickly, just to talk through this, it says, Ben, what you've described is not a marketing problem; it's a positioning problem. You're selling protection. Decision buyers buy risk reduction, continuity, and reputation protection. Those are not the same conversation. Step one: diagnose the real issue. Okay, it's summarizing what you've told it, which is that cold emails get low traction, community sessions, low attendance. People think, it's not for me, and there's heavy resistance. What does that tell ChatGPT? It's saying that you're speaking about cybersecurity. They're thinking about business survival. Executives don't wake up worrying about hackers. They wake up worrying about revenue, liability, compliance, downtime, reputation, and board accountability. And you've got to hit those nerves. Okay, so it's a positioning type of strategic thinking. Step two is stop selling cybersecurity, start selling business risk intelligence. You don't want to target everyone. You want CFOs, COOs, CEOs. So executives care about, could this shut us down? Different language. Repositioning your offer, a better strategy, executive briefings. Let's just shift down here. Step 5, fix the messaging. Step 6, let's use AI better. Instead of asking ChatGPT to write up generic cold emails, try the stronger prompt. So here it's actually given you a prompt, which I can send to you privately on Zoom. Here, act as a strategic advisor for a cybersecurity firm targeting CFOs in mid-sized manufacturing companies. Help me reposition my services from technical security to financial risk mitigation and design a 90-day business development strategy. Okay, how cool is that?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Okay, so let me just send a private chat here to you with that particular prompt, and then a reality check. Now I want to challenge you, and what I can do is I can actually click share there. I'm going to copy the link, and I'm going to send the link to this particular chat via private message to Ben on Zoom. All right, guys. So Ben, also round of applause to you. Thank you for all your insights and extra information, and thanks for prompting there. I think this was a great example because it helps us to think more strategically, to think more clearly, to take a step back, zoom out, look at the bigger picture, and to make sense of a really difficult, challenging situation that we're in, something frustrating, something really important for us personally, for our positioning, for our branding, for our marketing going forward. So well done to Ben. All right, I'm going to remove the spotlight from Ben. We've got 6 more minutes. Is there anyone else who wants to jump onto camera and share their thoughts or questions or frustrations? Okay. Avi, have you noticed anyone? I think I've lost the chat. I don't know where I'm just seeing my private messages. Let me see if I can just find the actual full chat here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything, but it's a great opportunity to get some, free consulting advice from Dan and GPT combined. So feel free to jump in. It's a lot of fun,
maybe.
Yeah.
I can't really obviously speak for Liesel, but she did have a question. People not performing routine duties. I need an AI to not only recommend, but to implement the solutions. So since Liesel can't speak, I don't know your context, and I don't know your issue, and I don't know your market. So maybe type those 3 into the chat, and I'm happy to talk to ChatGPT, or Dan, you can talk to ChatGPT, and we can try and solve Liesel's issue quickly. I don't know.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Liesel said she won't be able to speak. All right. Also, Mervyn, you said concerns about confidentiality, have used advanced actuarial type calculations. No idea of outputs. If outputs are accurate, looks right. Also confidentially of inputs. Okay. So the models are improving. Apparently, Claude as a model is much better with spreadsheets and with data and with coding. So that's something to look into and explore. Personally, I'm not, even though we've been teaching Excel for 12 years, we're not doing hardcore Excel modeling with the help of AI on a day-to-day basis. That's just not our focus. So you'll need to explore that. hallucinations and errors were much more of a problem. Now they're still there, and you still definitely have to check things. But I think that the models are improving more and more and more. Initially, when ChatGPT came out, if you said, what's 5 plus 7, it would give you the wrong answer. So it couldn't do basic maths. As far as I know, it's much, much better, and it's hallucinating less, and it's doing things much, much more accurately.
Thank you.
Only note on that for everybody that's here is that to unlock the more advanced models, so I don't know what the free plan offers. I'm also on the plus one, so the paid subscription, the mid tier. But yeah, so certain subscriptions unlock certain models, and different processing and different banks of information, stuff like that. So with the free plan, I'm not saying don't use it and it's not worth it, but yeah, like there's certain things, as I say, you get what you pay for. Yeah, just from a context.
All right, guys, excellent. Thank you, Ben. Caricature creation. Ben mentioned that a fun prompt that's actually gone quite viral on social media is to create a caricature of yourself. You can try that. You can have some fun. It is important to have fun and to see. I actually put this picture of myself and my fiance, and that's what it did. Because what did I do? I asked for a prompt to a little bit more of a specific prompt as opposed to just the generic make a caricature of me, and that's what it did. So quite cool, quite fun. You can play around with it, and again, you don't have to have and know the exact prompt. You can just ask ChatGPT to give you the prompt. That's how good it is. And the ChatGPT's image generation has improved a lot, because I think this is pretty cool. I asked Gemini, I put in the same prompt into Gemini, and chat was actually much better. Cool. So any final thoughts? We've got 2 more minutes. Avi?
Yeah, my one key thought and advice, I suppose, is that you don't need us. We're just guiding you and showing you. But if you've got access to ChatGPT, what I mean is going forward, you can have the confidence to do exactly what we did. Ask ChatGPT, talk to ChatGPT, think with ChatGPT, and don't be scared. And as Dan said, have fun and really bring ChatGPT into all these different areas of your life, into business, into life, etc. And yeah, I hope that we're really setting you off onto a good trajectory. Definitely some final practical advice on how to do that is maybe I'll repaste that prompt into the chat that I sent right in the beginning, and maybe just take a photo of it or something, or just copy and paste it somewhere onto your phone or whatever, and then go and do that. Have a free AI consult right now using your AI. So that's it from me, and a big thanks to Dan, of course, for all the inspiration and excitement, and we really appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you, Av. Thank you, Tracy and Orchet, the whole Orchet team, for the opportunity.